mature tom can have a track like that. I mean, they're much bigger than a lynx or a bobcat. I spent 10 days in Idaho after Thanksgiving years ago. Part of the time I was in the field with a biologist who had spent his career working for the state on cougars. So I had the chance to ask him a lot of silly questions and learn a lot about him. And we saw tracks in the snow one day of a cat he said would have easily weighed more than 200 pounds. Big, big tracks in the snow.
And if you came across one, what would you do?
You'd be very lucky to find
one. For a
one.
short time, right?
Well,
You'd be under the tree.
it actually is not that unusual. People that are turkey hunting or elk hunting out west, you know, in known cougar country, if you're making the sounds of a prey species, it's not unusual that somebody will hear a twig snap behind them and turn back to see a cat stalking them, which would be an interesting turnabout when you're there for another reason. They, like the bears, you know, they're not into stalking humans normally, but it does happen, as we saw in California when they made it illegal to hunt cougars in the mistaken idea that they were threatened species or endangered species. They're certainly not. Suddenly we had cougars stalking and attacking joggers and bikers and hikers and so on. If you've got an old cat, bad teeth, an infection, he's had trouble fighting, or excuse me, eating, it's injured, whatever, a human is prey. Your average cougar is about 125 pounds to 150 pounds. So imagine one of us with the power of one of these creatures, it would be a very bad situation.
Be short.
You'd be in big trouble. Like a bear, you're probably better to curl up and defend yourself, or protect yourself. But failing that, then you'd have to fight it any way you could. I would not relish that thought. And they have really long fangs and really long claws. They're very capable in trees. One of the cats we saw when we were in Idaho, everything in Idaho was built like this. I swear the people have one leg shorter than the other. But this cat was about 40 feet up in a tree, and obviously did not like the looks of us coming near to it. So it launched itself out of the tree from 40 feet in the air, landed upright like cats do, and sprinted up this slope on snow. It was so steep, there's no way I could have climbed that slope. And it looked like it was no big deal for this cat. It was very impressive display. They'll go aloft if they're threatened, or sometimes just to rest, like that cat on the other side. Beautiful little cubs, of course. Again, I've never seen one. I consider myself lucky to have seen any cougars. A lot of outdoors people in the Rockies, even in heavy cougar country, will go their whole lifetime and never see one. It's just not a cat that wants to hang around with humans. I would not want to threaten one of those cubs with mom standing there. Something tells me she would be a force to be reckoned with. But you can see the spots, they'll fade as they reach mature size. These are top of the heap predators. They can take down a deer easily. And this biologist told me that in deer country, a cougar will take a deer every 4 days. That's 90 deer a year that one cougar could kill. They can take an 800 to 1,000 pound elk as well. Imagine a cat that size landing on the bull, biting the back of the neck, and snapping the neck with that paw. The power and the control to do that on an elk that's obviously going to be fighting back is pretty impressive. This is a picture of a puma down in Patagonia, Argentina, where we were. We didn't happen to see pumas down there, but we saw a lot of these guanaco. It's a llama type species. This is a subspecies of the puma, very similar genetics to the one we have here. So I mean, they range all the way from northern Canada all the way to southern Argentina, and can adapt to all kinds of habitat and environments.